We have a room full of experts. I might ask you a burning question. What is the ultimate challenge when you move to Estonia? It all boils down to one word: searching. Searching for an apartment that doesn't break your bank. Searching a dentist who speaks English. Searching for a partner if you're single, or searching for a kindergarten if you have kids. I know your pains. I moved to Estonia 8 years ago, and from day one, I had the same question. What the hell on earth I'm gonna have for breakfast? Do I look confident? No. Did I structure my speech in an engaging way, starting with intriguing question that resonate with many people in the room that mostly expert, and build up the tension, and then break it with a twist? But what is the missing part of it? I didn't move. I didn't use the body language at all. Now let's talk about how you think about body language. When body language, what comes to your mind?
It's something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So body language is a non-verbal communications. It's not the words that you talk, it's the movement that you do. It will tell the story of your feelings, your emotion, your ideas. What are the components of body language that you have heard of, know of, guessed of?
Hand gestures.
Hand gesture,
Eye movements.
eye movement,
Overall, like facial expressions.
facial expression,
Posture.
posture,
Moving around.
moving around.
Since they're moving around and sometimes standing still.
Yes.
In between.
You have been to all the workshops, so I'm done with mine. There are 6 components that I will discuss with you today regarding the body language. Let's talk about the first one. What is your name?
Oscar.
Oscar, and you're Estonian. Yes, and it's very disturbing when we have the eye contact this far and this close. I remember the first time when my teacher in the class, they talked to me directly like this. It got my attention, but I just so tired because she kept looking at me and I couldn't do anything else. So when you have the eye contact, don't lock the eye contact with one particular person. It intimidating for that person. So what you should do instead with the eye contact, you want to screen the room, but not like a scanner. What to do instead? You talk with one person, finish the thought, you move to the next person in the back, you move back to the front, finish your thought, move back to the second corner, and then move to the front as a W shape. In that way, you screen the whole room without spending too much time on one particular person. Usually about 3 to 5 seconds per person. The ideal way to do that is you finish the sentence or you finish the thought with one eye contact and then move to the next one. Number 2 is the facial expression. When I had my speech contest, I talked about how I was diagnosed with not cancer but a tumor. But because I have lived in Estonia for quite a while, I didn't have much facial expression back then. People gave me the feedback that your story is so sad, but your face, it didn't tell the story. It didn't convey the message that you want to tell. Make sure that your facial expression really support or convey your message. Maybe something very simple that you walked in the room and smiled. It will connect with people. And then you can do something more, something excited, something sad, something determined, something surprised. It may be a little bit of acting in the sense with facial expression. The best way to do is to practice in front of the mirror and also get used to using the muscles on the face. I know it's hard because for me, I don't think I can use that facial expression that much, that match with my message. But as you practice, you will use your facial expression more and more. As an actor, at the end, the speaker is partly actor in that way. Number 3, what is the common in these men?
Speakers.
Man in black.
I don't know, this is kind of fashion of man in stone or something. But it's actually his gesture. It can be from here, 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 here. It has so many variations. I remember when I first started to write a speech in Toastmaster, and I gave the speech a couple of times, I started to wondering what to do with the hands. And then I started to check videos of how do they use the hand, what to do with the hands. Let's find out.
Hi, I'm Ramona J. Smith, Toastmasters International 2018 World Champion of Public Speaking. Types of gestures. What kinds of gestures should you imagine when planning a speech? Think of them in 4 major groups. First, descriptive gestures, like the one I just used, help make your words clearer. They can help describe things like size, shape, and location of objects you're discussing. Second, emblematic gestures are culturally specific, though some are universal, such as nodding and shrugging. Emblematic movements underscore strong emotion, such as earnestness and conviction. In many cultures, placing your hand on your heart communicates a powerful belief in your message. Third, representational gestures include movements that give information about what you're doing. You might use your hands to demonstrate chopping, throwing, or picking something up. Fourth, pantomime gestures are a good way to ask your audience to participate or respond. If you want them to raise their hands, for example, you may raise your hand to show them.
There's a lot of gesture to remember, isn't it? But it's not something that you have to remember all the terminology. Something simple that 1, 2, 3 that you can use, which is quite common to divide your speech. That the first thing you're gonna know, the second thing I'm gonna talk about, and this is the last thing that you should know. And moving forward, which you live in the mountain or you live in the sea, something like that, something big, something small. That is the board, mainly with the gesture that you can use or implement in your speech. If you talk more like Italian, that's also fine. In that case, you need to control how you use your gesture in the way that will support your message. You don't want to do what I just did. So I say something big and you do like this, and something small, you do like this. Up next is posture. As Milo has said, you can see these are the group of people they were in Toastmaster before. What is a proper posture? You don't want to go in to speak. If you're not physically disabled, then the proper posture is that you should have your back straight, your shoulder back relaxed, chest out, chin up, but not too high, it will look arrogant. mainly at the eye levels to the people. I want you to look at all of these participants and pinpoint one person which has a term for the posture.
I was just thinking the woman in the middle looks more natural, more relaxed.
Okay.
No, the guy in the gray has the
Yes.
Superman pose.
That one is called power pose. If you want to get more energy, more confident before you go on stage, or you want to impose that you are in power, that is called the power pose, where you have your feet apart, your stand up height, and then you will feel so powerful like a Superman. You can try that, it works. Now, the same photo, what else do you notice about these participants? The hands, We already talked about the gesture.
Looking at
The stance. The stance mean how you stand basically, or the term of the standing position. Usually they say it will be the feet apart at the shoulder width, but not too wide, not too narrow. Your knee should be loose but not locked, so it's easy for you to move if you want to. But for me, it's quite personal. Some people will stand a bit wider, some people stand a bit in a narrower stance, some people have one feet like this, or you can do like posing like models. It quite depends on person, how do you feel on the speech of that stage, what stance you want to impose. You want to look at powerful, you want to look at small, or you want to look at vulnerable or approaching. That way you can change your stance to make it match with your speech. Does it make sense so far? We move to the last part. Now watch a video of our former member Joseph. Check all the body language that we have talked about, and the last element, what is it?
And when we were going back to our car, we were going through many souvenir stores. And I wanted to buy exactly nothing. So I went to different stores and I was very successful in that. But then there was this dark store. It was a little one. There was an old guy in the store. He had no hair. He had bare feet. He had no teeth. And he was selling Moroccan teapots. And 10 minutes later, I had my own teapot, which I didn't want to buy.
What is the last element of the body language?
Bring it back to the beginning.
In that sense, someone had already mentioned about this element in the beginning.
He moved up and down,
Yes.
sideways.
You also right when he's moved back and forth. Basically, here is the element of body or the stage movement. What I like about the stage movement from one particular video that I have watched, imagine the stage as a 3x3 square. Even if you're in a TED Talk, they have the red round circle, you can move in that red circle. If you don't have any limitation of moving, the stage as big as the stage is, you still can divide it into a 3x3 square. What you do on that square, the main direction is the transversal direction. In this way, you will talk when you have the transition. For example, how do I do the speech when what remember what I did in the beginning. Do you think you are a good speaker? Or do you think you are an average speaker? Or maybe you're not a very good speaker. That is the classic way to move on the stage in this transversal direction. Or in another case, first, you boil the egg. Second, you put to the ice bath to shock it. Lastly, it's very easy to peel. If you have a structure in steps, you can also follow the steps. But don't walk in 10,000 steps in the middle. It depends on the structure. Usually 3 could be ideal. Opening, body, back, and then go back to the center as your main stage. Now, you can also move in this direction back and forth when you should do that. If you move forward, you could be very close to the audience. And sometimes it's very intimidating for the audience. You moved here only when you want to emphasize something really important that you want to really reach out closer to the audience. But don't stay here all the time. Move back to the main stage after you finish your emphasis. Rarely you could go back here because you will be very far away from the audience unless you want to do something really sad moment or give the audience time to think about something that you just taught and you want to give them space. This is the space you have. With that 6 components, I could group them into 3 parts for you to easy to remember. Think about your head. This is eye contact, facial expression. Then now the body, hand gesture, posture. And then your legs is the stance, how you move. So with that 6 components, now you know how to speak not only with your words, but your body. Thank you very much.